With over 16 years' experience in international trade advisory, business development, protocol, and diplomacy, the Honorable Patricia Kenneth Devine has worked extensively with hundreds of global businesses, government departments, and diplomatic communities to transform global opportunities for change and success. She is the director of the International Center for Protocol and Diplomacy, leading on strategic engagements to promote protocol and diplomacy globally. She has recorded phenomenal success and achievements working with global brands and partners across the world. The Honorable Patricia Kenneth Devine is the president of the Global Protocol and Diplomatic Network and a champion for diversity and inclusion, promoting a transformation and innovation agenda through ethnic and minority business engagements. She also supports the petition for World Protocol Day on the 11th of May. Through her engagements with professional institutions and universities, she is keen on bringing a global change through learning and development, especially in the protocol and diplomatic communities.
So thank you everyone for the second session of this conference and welcome to the Global Online Conference on the Role of Diplomacy in Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 Agenda. I think Agnes will help later on, but I believe that as much as possible, you're hearing some of the things I'm saying, but I'm sure we'll be fine. So my name is Patricia Kenneth Devine. I'm the founder and director of the International Center for Protocol and Diplomacy in the United Kingdom. It is my pleasure to welcome our speakers and participants, diplomats and professionals here this evening on our second session, the Spanish session. We want to acknowledge all our speakers here present, and also we also want to acknowledge again sponsors and partners, business leaders, our global network, and the ICPD Alumni Network. The Sustainable Development Goals 2030 Agenda constitutes a comprehensive plan of action. Therefore, the overall implementation of this agenda has become paramount, and the mission is to establish a tangible cooperation among the most outstanding players within the international business and diplomatic sphere to discuss and promote the campaign towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. The SDG goals is the roadmap out of crisis. The world is facing a confluence of crises that threaten the very survival of humanity. Today's discussion in this conference will remember to talk about the United Nations member states in 2015, how they have provided the blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet itself. During this conference, we shall generate relevant information that will unveil the required transformation, inspire and mobilize actions across the globe. We will emphasize on the outcome of diplomacy and its significant role towards the achievements of the SDGs 2030. We would not forget, as this conference, remember those who are affected by the earthquake in Syria and Turkey, the war in Ukraine, and other unrest and crises around the world, as we recognize that end poverty and other deprivations must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, all while tackling climate change and working to preserve our oceans, forests, and the earth. A little more about the International Center for Protocol and Diplomacy. We have increased our global approach as our priorities are centered around contributing towards the delivery of the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as our objectives for this conference will be to focus at building an inclusive environment that aims to align diplomatic strategies around the three dimensions of sustainable development: economic, social, and environment. We will measure the progress and scorecard of achieving the SDGs 2030 agenda. As we discuss the role of diplomacy in achieving the SDGs goals, let's pay attention to our fantastic speakers today who are going to be discussing all elements of diplomacy as it enhances the SDGs. We aim to create optimism around the global business environment and drive awareness for a call to action to achieving the SDGs agenda. At this point, I hereby declare the conference open for the second session, and I'll now hand over to my beautiful moderator, Agnes Bihari. Agnes, please, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for your kind words. I will go ahead and switch to Spanish. I'm going to give a summary of your key messages, and then I will to introduce the speakers. So thank you very much.
That's all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buenos días, buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a nuestra sesión sobre el papel de la diplomacia para lograr los objetivos del desarrollo sostenible. Gracias a la organizadora de esta conferencia, tengo el placer de presentar a los participantes de este evento multidisciplinario. Escuchamos la introducción, la bienvenida por la parte de la directora Patricia Kenneth Devine, directora del Centro Internacional del Protocolo y Diplomacia, donde lidera compromisos estratégicos para promover el protocolo y la diplomacia a nivel mundial. Patricia ha registrado un éxito y logros fenomenales trabajando con marcas globales en todo el mundo, organismos profesionales e instituciones para iniciar la campaña de cambio en las comunidades diplomáticas del protocolo. Habló sobre la importancia de emplear las herramientas de la diplomacia y protocolo para resolver las crisis que está enfrentando la humanidad en estos momentos para transformar y movilizar los recursos para alcanzar dichos objetivos. Hoy estamos rodeados de información sobre el desarrollo sostenible todos los días en las redes sociales, en los principales medios de comunicación y durante nuestras tareas de la vida cotidiana. Nosotros, como ciudadanos y profesionales del protocolo, la diplomacia y otras áreas relacionadas con el enlace y comunicación con las personas, requerimos ciertos valores, experiencia y habilidades para contribuir con éxito a la Agenda de 2030 de las Naciones Unidas.